Yes, we're still reviewing Nation. Daily Sun.
So the major headline in Daily Sun carried the story of our oil marketers. So our oil marketers are complaining they need a bailout fund of about 100 billion naira to avoid closure of 10,000 businesses. So these are retail filling stations across the country who have suffered huge losses since the removal of subsidy. So the association, the Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron, has said that the government should provide 100 billion naira grant to access to prevent imminent closure of this filling station. They said the funds will be deposited in the Africa Energy Bank, which is domesticated within Nigeria, and will provide low-interest loans to a lot of these companies, because they said they cannot afford to put fuel in the filling station at the current rate of 38% to 40%, which is what they would get if they go and borrow money from the conventional commercial banks. So they are hoping that the government putting this 100 billion into the Africa Energy Bank, their members would have access to single-digit loans between 8 to 9%, will be able to buy petroleum products to put in the filling. Many filling stations have shut down because they cannot afford 40%. So if this happens, they said that if it doesn't happen, it will be a 15-year record showcasing the country's determination. As like this, a lot of companies will shut down at the same time, marking a 15-year record of shuts down of business, and it would impact employment and many other things. So the bailout, they said, would be supporting the businesses to sustain themselves as the economy is recovering. They also recommend that Nigeria, being that we're producers of crude oil, shouldn't be facing this kind of challenges, and that we can truly unlock full potential of our refining sector if we support local content.
So another thing we shouldn't be facing is the 31.8 million litres of petrol daily importation to meet up, the deficit. According to truck out data from the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority, Nigeria has to import 79.5% or 31.8 million litres of petrol to bridge local refining shortfall. Wow. So according to them, Dangote refinery gives us about 7 million litres, and the NNPCL gets about 1.2 million litres from local refining capacity. And then so we have a total of 8.2 million litres only daily. So the shortfall, of course, we have to go and do import to get it. And that's, for me, I just wonder, how this
the more we discuss this thing, the more confusing it gets. I don't understand where that data is coming from.
So I'm wondering, with the Tokwe's, what Tokwe read on the major headline, if you drive around Lagos, you will see most of the
filling stations.
What's it called? Private petrol station. There's a name for them. Private, not major marketers.
Ipman people.
The Ipman people, independent marketers.
Yeah.
You see most of their filling stations locked down.
They can't afford
They can't afford. And if they even have products, they're selling at 1,000 plus, and we all queue for the ones that we can buy. And so most of them are not in business. Where is this shortfall? Which people they drink the fuel?
Anyways, our president was in Enugu last weekend, where he was speaking, saying that he has called on the captains of industries to get into politics, just as Governor Peter Mbah is doing so well in Enugu State. He said that he has shown the country needs them in public sector to move the nation forward. He's inviting more public captains and industries to please come into politics. He has described Governor Mbah as a committed leader who is taking Enugu to the 21st century development. The president made the call when he visited Enugu and to commission a state-of-the-art command and control center for the full surveillance of the state, as well as 150 patrol vehicles fitted with high-tech equipment and cameras. I mean, this is much needed. So the state obviously is ready to ensure that security is taken a notch higher by putting surveillance cameras across the state. He has also reassured him, according to him, of the fact that more revenue is going to the subnationals and local government is not a waste, because many of them are actually put it to good use. So he was just celebrating Governor Peter Mbah and said that more private sector people need to get into politics. Hopefully, they can help us move the country forward. Let's move quickly now to Vanguard 2025. Organized private sector charts economic growth path. Tinubu, Mbah doing everything possible to provide security and attract investors to Enugu. Vet doctors raise concern over dog attacks and deaths. PDP will produce more governors in 2027, says National Working Committee. Drug shipment NDLA nabs wanted kingpin and Nollywood filmmaker. We haven't reached 90% completion, says Boa Refinery. No plans to destroy 6 million naira PVCs, says INEC. Single-use plastics, enforcement of ban starts in 14 days, says Lagos State government. Sounds like a Mariam story. Address food insecurity, economic hardship now, Southern monarchs tell federal government. And finally, 4 dead, scores injured, 2 banks raised as petrol tanker explodes at Agbo.
Okay. Yeah, single-use plastics. The Lagos State government yesterday has disclosed that the enforcement of the ban on single-use plastics will commence in 2 weeks, in 14 days. As we remember, in 2024, the Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Tokunbo Wahab, had placed the ban on the usage of styrofoam and single-use plastics for packaging, and he says that we remember that he had banned it in 2024, and that he said commencement of enforcement will start 2025. So in 14 days, everybody be ready. So single-use plastics, nylon bags, straws, plastic cutleries, as we know, styrofoam, cups and packaging are all the sort of thing. He says that because, as we know, environmental impact of the single-use plastics, where we're getting flooding, and this particular, on this particular occasion, he was at the Ilubirin pump station, and he's saying that, see, there's no going back on this commencement, there's no talking about it. We have given out the warning, and we have to, go ahead with this. He talked about the level of degradation, on the infrastructure. There was one particular built by Julius Berger, that's the Ilubirin, because of the environmental pollution, plastics everywhere, it's just horrible. So this has to be enforced immediately. And I think that in the end, no matter how difficult or reliant we feel we are on these single-use plastics, as we phase them out, it will be better for all of us. Yeah.
Okay, so I have the vet doctors raise concerns over dog attacks and death. The national president of the NVMA, Dr. Gani Enahoro, says it's become a health issue that dogs are now attacking and killing Nigerians, and this has to be curbed. He also mentioned, I'm surprised, that we have a
dog law,
an anti-dog law or a dog law, and he says they do their awareness on 28th of September every year, which is the World Rabies Day, and public health practitioners, human medics also collaborate and go around sensitizing people on rabies, but pet ownership confers a lot of responsibility on those who choose to own them, and we have a lot of carelessness and apology to this irresponsible ownership of pets in so many quarters of the country. I'm completely in agreement because I just suffered one recently. It says that except for Delta State, every other state have their dog law dating back as colonial times. Even though we have a new Animal Disease Control Act, it covers every kind of animal. But Delta State had, tried to refine the dog law and it reflects modernity today. They are under torts and civil law. There are certain consequences for when your dog strays or goes out, or harms somebody else. But we're here now, we no longer talking about it.
Even police are not implementing the laws. If your dog attacks somebody else, you should be penalized. You should be taken to court. The police should prosecute it, but it's not being implemented. So it's really, really...
Fortunately, that is all we can take on Front Page Review this morning. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.